Yeah, for this portion of the show, I just want to take a moment to actually just say just show some empathy for the people that were on the flight. It was American airline flight that actually collided with the
Black Hawk.
The Black Hawk, and it was a DC plane crash, right? It was 60 people.
66, I believe.
66, and then it was a lot of different. It were people that were going to. Was that a?
I think they said
they were coming from Kansas.
Yeah, for a figure. Was it
figure skating?
Figure skating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's just and what was that lady? Was she a lawyer? The black lady.
Mm-hmm.
She was a lawyer.
Was it Harvard?
Yeah, and it's just like seeing tragedies like that. That's the first time something like that happened in 16 years. Right now I feel like it's too early. It just happened yesterday.
Yeah.
2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like now in this time we don't take an empathy period. We take a political period right away, and I feel like that
blame period.
That just makes absolutely no sense. I do know that politicians do want to talk. Politicians do want to say things, but they always try to say, well, it's the liberals that's like, I don't want nobody to call me a liberal. I want nobody to call me a Democrat. I want nobody to call me a man and believe in what I believe in. I want nobody to call me a Republican. I want nobody to call me conservative. Yeah. None of that. I want nobody to call me. I want to be the man that I am first. Yeah. And if I view a situation and if it's like these people got families, these people have people that they love. People love these people. The first thing I'm not going to do is try to use a political mindset to actually discuss what's going on. What I'm going to discuss is the empathy for these people and their family and these people that's losing these people. But I feel like a lot of people, I don't know, the world is just angry.
It is. Like, sincerest condolences to all of the families. My goodness, my heart was just breaking as I was watching the footage the night that happened. But these politicians that are trying to politicize it, to me, it just shows they do not care
about people.
They are just about their agendas and they don't really care about the people.
Real quick, do you remember, where were you when 9/11 happened?
9/11, I was on my honeymoon.
Where were you when 9/11 happened?
I was at work, at the cemetery.
I was in college, I was in school, and I remember watching the news and there was a lot of empathy. The world was coming together.
I agree.
Everybody was like, wow, this happened. Like, anybody, you remember Kanye said, was that 9/11?
It was
Katrina.
That was Katrina.
Yes, you're
right. But you remember before social media, when things like that happened, people were more empathetic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now it's kind of like you got politicians that's just jumping on this stuff and just acting crazy, and then because there are people that, I don't know, I'll be looking online and I'll be like there are people that are like, well, I'm gonna get mad too and say stuff, and they don't know they're getting mad for.
Right. Don't just jump on the bandwagon.
Yeah, like you said, with 9/11, it was a whole different atmosphere because like at that time, social media wasn't a big thing, and like I was working at a cemetery, and we was taking care of a service, and I worked with this guy. This is when we had pagers, so he had one of those pagers that used to always get the news alert. So we were doing a service, and he got alert. He was like, "Oh, something happened to one of the World Trade Center, or whatever." And then like a few minutes later, he got another alert. He was like, "Oh, the other one." So we went back to where our break room was at, and we watched it on TV. We was like, "Oh man!" But kind of like you said, it kind of brought people together.
Yeah, we was in school. We was in school, and I remember it was T, my friend. It was me, Aaron, Bellamy, one of my, I shouldn't say his full name, Aaron, T, Renee. We had all was coming from my apartment because there was a party over there, and we went to campus. And when we got to campus, it was like ain't no classes. Yeah. And then we saw everybody from New York looking nervous on the ramp on the ramp with some college. And they looking crazy. And we like, what happened? They like, y'all ain't heard the plane crashed into the World Trade Center. And we like, dang. Like everybody just felt. But now when stuff happens, it's kind of like you're supposed to get on social media. You're supposed to have this reaction, this whole political reaction to people's real lives.
That's because nowadays there's really, I'm gonna send my condolences out to the families too. But there's no type of sympathy or empathy no more.
No.
It's all about I'm right
And you're wrong.
And you're wrong, and it's all about who's right and who's wrong. And like you said, everything is always political, and there's no people don't think about what the families are going through, what the friends are going through, and it's just sickening at times.
Everything is about DEI.
Because that's the whole message that they're trying to push. Like, my goodness, and the interesting thing with DEI, it's not just black people, it's women, it's people that are disabled. There are a lot of different people that it covers, and it's just like they kind of choose what marginalized group they want to choose. And it's sad. It's a sad time, and every time I hear it, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, ugh.
Yeah, it's just like when I heard about it, this situation, I was asleep after. I woke up at like 4 o'clock in the morning.
And when it comes to the federal Aviation Administration, the FAA, right? There are people that have DEI jobs, right? There, right?
Yeah.
Those are people in the offices, right?
Yeah.
But if you're going to be like a what's they call the people that are actually like
Air traffic control.
Air traffic control. You have to have 20/20 vision. There's a whole bunch of tests that you have to take. There's no there's certifications. There's no DEI workers in those positions.
Yeah, and so he sounds stupid saying that.
So to say that is just to put blame. But there was a freeze on jobs too, and those jobs there's never enough people for those jobs anyway. There's like usually 2 people that's doing a job. There's usually 1 person doing a job. There's a 2 people job in those situations. I'm not saying that it's like exactly his fault, but I'm saying the direction that he's taking is not going to make things any better.
Yeah, I agree with everything you say, but we have to think that it happened, and there's nothing that
Can't go back.
You can't go back. Instead of playing the blame game, we need to figure out what we could do better so it won't happen again.
Yep.
Because they were saying that where this happened, that they always had problems with
Close calls.
Yeah. So it's like instead of just playing this blame game, let's figure out a way where we don't have to deal with this again, or nobody else have to bury a loved one because of some type of political games that's going on.
Even with the fires and all of that stuff, it's just like everything just become this political game where it's like I'm trying to teach you a lesson.
Yeah.
I'm trying to teach y'all a lesson. Everything is like a lesson, but there's no empathetic feelings behind the whole thing. There's no leadership. There's no let me fix this, because you know what America is about. America is about the people. People like from my family. Like, we moved here because America seems to be something or a place where it's about family and it's about people can actually do better for themselves. People can actually, opportunity. That these are the things why people move to this country. These are the things that was promised. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of crazy just living here, and then it's like it seems like it's every man for themselves.
Yeah, and we don't realize how this affect other people too, because I have a person that that I'm cool with that's a flight attendant, and they work for American Airlines. So these are their colleagues, and then they have to worry about now when they fly. So now you have that anxiety and that worry.
I don't want to fly nowhere.
Yeah. So it's just playing all these political games and this blame game and all this other stuff is like unnecessary right now. We need to be trying to uplift and hold these families up in prayer.
Yeah, it's a lot of unnecessary behaviors. The one thing that just is crazy to me is people just don't seem to know how to cope with like adverse feelings. If you're having feelings and you're upset or you're mad or you're disappointed, you don't have to try to take it out on somebody else. It's like just, in the moment of what we're dealing with, like all these side comments that politicians are making, it's like you're making it about yourself.
Yeah.
And, take a minute, just keep your mouth shut and, try to say condolences. But I just feel like with a lot of the different situations that are happening, it's these coping mechanisms. People just are just doing the most, and it's just like just sit down.
Because you come to realize, like the movie Idiocracy, remember the movie Idiocracy, where they found that president. It was a president that they found, and he was only a president because he was a celebrity. Watch that movie. He was only a president because he was a celebrity. He would just say like the craziest stuff, and people would follow behind him, because the reason why he was president is because like people started having more kids, and it was like more dumber people. So he was able to control these people. This movie is an older movie.
Stop.
So
That's like
yeah.
art imitating life.
So he was able to control these people. He was like but in the long run, he had to calm down. Because, people got tired of the boat.
Right.
Yeah, and with this situation, it kind of
Idiocracy.
Yeah, it really hit me kind of hard, because I'm thinking about like last year, my son and his mother, they went to Washington D.C. They flew to Washington D.C. around spring break. It was spring break, so I'm thinking like, man, my son just like flew to Washington D.C. last year, and it's just like, I mean,
we didn't know. We none of us were even aware of the dangers of them having to fly so close like that. And they say it happened all the time. Like,
my niece was on the airplane the same day. Like the same day, but it was like, I called my father like, yo, is she? He like, yeah, I just picked her up. So I'm like, well, that's good. He like, yeah, but she wasn't in DC. I was like, she goes so many different places. She could have been in DC. She always flying.
Yeah.
He like, nah, she was in Texas. But now we're nervous about flying. And flying is probably one of the safest things.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's more safe than driving a car.
Yes.
I couldn't stand flying before, and I was like, ooh.
Now you don't want to drive nowhere. Now I love to drive. I love road trips. Yeah.
Well, follow, like, share, and subscribe. Y'all got anything else?
Just be more empathetic.
Yeah,
like,
empathy is key.
Make that the forefront of your mind. Like, I think that's the interesting thing. It's like if you get mad and you just want to hit somebody or you want to cuss somebody out, it's like that's a problem.
And empathy, if you deal with empathy more, it gives you time to think how to handle the situation in a more rational way, opposed to a more, it's more civil way to actually.
Yeah, but some people are soulless.
Yeah.
There's that part. Yeah, it's like, where is your soul? Yeah.
Yeah, go check.
They're gonna get in trouble.
I don't like Trump. I hate when I do stuff online